Tell me about your stance on oil then. I'm assuming that it's mostly because it's just super calorie dense and it's not coming with a lot of micronutrients. There are some depending on the oil, but it's very calorie dense, and given many people are trying to manage their weight or lose weight, perhaps it's not the best thing to do from a satiety point of view. Outside of that, is there a reason to be worried about oils? Like, for example, for me, I think I have like a fairly high fat plant-based diet compared to some people, but it's low saturated fat. There's quite a lot of nuts and seeds and avocado and tofu, and I will have olive oil, maybe a tablespoon or so a day with cooking. Do you think that's a problem?
It would depend on your body fat percent, and you're a big, strong guy, so it probably could be okay because your caloric needs are relatively higher. Since your caloric needs are higher and your body fat is low, then you're getting your nutrients met with enough food, and the concentration, because you're diluting the nutrient density of your diet with oil, because oil is empty calorie food, right? So to the extent that oil becomes a part of your diet, you've lowered the nutrients in your diet by that extent. But it may be an insignificant extent if you're working heavy, if you're a person working behind a plow, or a physical laborer, or going to the gym, or if you're a person lean with with a low body fat, and your overall caloric needs are adequately met. Your caloric needs are high enough where you can eat enough vegetables, enough beans, enough nuts without putting on extra weight. Then the little bit of extra oil would not be that significant. But if you were a person who was a middle-aged woman who was working behind a computer, who has an extra 30 pounds to lose of weight, then the 1 tablespoon of oil could inhibit her weight loss and could be ultimately detrimental to her long-term health. So I think that because her over appetite of how much food she needs is much lower, so the oil becomes a higher percent. And also because oil revs up fat storage because it has to be stored as fat. And for a person that's overweight, it can impede fat loss. So yes, you're saying that looking at you, your body fat's probably low. But if I measured your body fat and it was above 15%, I'd say what should you cut out in your diet to reduce your calories? You shouldn't cut out the things that are healthy. You should cut out the oil because it's not necessary nutrient. It's not essential to your health and longevity. Remove that oil from your diet, you'll be better off. But if you're so physically active that your body fat's low and you're in great physical condition, then you have a little bit of oil, no big deal.
Okay, no big deal. So, because it sounds like to me that comes back to what's your body composition, total energy intake, and assessing that on an individual basis. But there are also some claims that exist out there that I'm certain people have come across where someone will say that oils damage your endothelial cells in your arteries and increase risk of cardiovascular disease.
They do if you're cooking. If heated oils do that, you cause oils become rancid. And don't forget, I'm not recommending you add the oil. It's still a compromise. I don't have any oil in my diet, and I wouldn't add it because I feel like, don't forget, my underlying primary principle for extending human lifespan is moderate caloric restriction. Moderate caloric restriction in the context of micronutrient excellence or micronutrient adequacy. It's those 5 words, right? So if I want to restrict calories to a degree, I'm going to remove the calories that aren't as necessary or powerful to promote longevity. So, and even cold pressed oils, a lot of them have some glycidal toxin in them. They have a lot of degree of rancidity from sitting on a shelf for months. They're not nutrient favorable. They're maybe compared to meat and butter they are, but still, and compared to a diet with no fat, a little bit of oil may have some positive effect if your diet is so low in fat, but you're much better eating nuts and seeds and excluding the oil. So, and then if you heat the oil at temperatures, then you're going to cause more acidity, more damage to the endothelium. So I'm not advocating those foods. It's just not so bad if you're somebody like you having a little bit is probably not that significant, you know.
Why do you'd be familiar with Predimed, right?
Predimed, yeah.
Predimed study, right?
The Predimed, yeah.
Yeah,
Predimed.
And it's always intrigued me that they had, in the intervention group adopting the Mediterranean diet, there was one with added oil, olive oil, and one with nuts, and they seem to do pretty similar.
No, that's not true. It's the group that had the longest longevity in that study were the groups who were eating nuts and seeds before they intervened, who continued on the nuts. See, there were different groups. One group didn't have nuts and seeds, and they added nuts and seeds to the diet. One group had nuts and seeds, and they ate olive oil to the diet. One group they had like different groups. But the group that had the longest lifespan and the most reduced rate of cardiovascular death were the groups who were eating nuts and seeds before they intervened, and then their intervention was to add nuts and seeds. So it was nuts and seeds before, and the ones that continue with nuts and seeds had overwhelmingly enhanced benefits